Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Rapid Art. I am here tonight with Dan Tanz. Dan Tanz is a Minneapolis singer-songwriter. He writes and performs his unique blend of original folk, bluegrass, blues, and americana music on guitar and banjo. He shares his original music on videos on YouTube at Songwriter Circle. The link is below in the description. So check out his channel. It's really pretty impressive. 388 videos?
Oh, I've got twice that now.
Twice? Okay. And many of them are featuring you playing original compositions.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Dan released kind of an online album, A Big Messy Vision. It's an exploration of childhood self-advocacy, inclusion, and environmental responsibility for 2020. That album is available on Bandcamp, and the link again is in the description. So you should check that out. It's really cool. So, and the recording quality is really pretty, also like nice, really impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah, real professional. I mean, really easy to listen to. Sometimes, like with my own recordings, for instance, I have a hard time listening to them because of the sound quality. But yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, that one I did actually at a studio in Taylor's Falls, Wisconsin. Or actually across Taylor's Falls, the other side is in Wisconsin. At this place called Zoo School, where just a great kind of retreat getaway for recording artists, about an hour from the Twin Cities. So really nice.
Out in the trees, out in the sticks.
Yeah. He has a little forest and beautiful house with the lower level is all set up to be a recording studio. And there's like a bus you can rent and as an Airbnb and stay inside of this little kind of old-fashioned bus. It's really cool.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds, I mean, I can kind of, when I listen to your music, that's kind of where, the sound sort of puts me out in the country somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So how long have you been playing music?
I've been playing most of my life just playing guitar. And then since college in the the late 90s, I got into songwriting and just did that, kind of dove into that headlong into songwriting and have been doing it ever since, just heavily, just in my spare time.
A lot of people pick up the guitar when they're younger, but not everyone, gets interested in songwriting. Was there something you saw, something you heard? Was there a teacher, somebody that got you interested in heading in that direction?
I feel like there's a lot of little stepping stones that led me there. I remember being wowed by bands I saw in high school, like friends that somehow had it together to get together a rock band and do their thing. And I just was really impressed by that. And, watching them play guitar and their confidence and their swagger. Yeah. And that's just the way they sounded and just the great, creativity that people could do even when they were so young. And I wasn't there yet at that point, but that was inspiring.
Was this in Minneapolis then?
Yeah. And I
grew up in Minneapolis.
Really moved by a lot of the bands coming out of Minneapolis that I felt really connected to since they were in my own hometown.
Yeah.
And just, the connecting really emotionally with the songwriting that I was hearing and the poetry and all of that together, the whole thing. And just the community of musicians is just really fun to be in a group of people that piece together a song and work on something together in a creative way.
Right. Okay. You mentioned the Minneapolis bands. I mean, a lot of people think of Prince being from Minneapolis, but I mean, there's a ton of, I mean, especially I suppose when you were in high school, like bands like Soul Asylum were probably, I mean, that was about the time maybe they had their, they put out a number of albums before they made it on MTV, but you know, I mean, is that the kind of thing you're talking about, or
Yeah,
like the guitar bands?
yeah, those were the bands that seemed really cool, and other bands like the Replacements and bands like the Jayhawks, or
Oh yeah.
that I really, when I first heard the Jayhawks, I was really moved. I think I heard them in '95 around that time, and I just something about the harmony, the singing, the harmonies, and just
Right.
that kind of old school sound that was reinvented. Really, really touched me and inspired me to want to do that myself. And
Yeah.
I think growing up to it as a child, I remember listening to tapes that my parents would put on when we were trying to get us to sleep at night, and they put on Pete Seeger, and just remembering the sound of that banjo, just that wonderful sound and his voice, just stuck with me all those years and really inspired me.
Yeah, there's a couple tunes on the Bandcamp album, especially, where I think that influence, I can really hear it in your vocals. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that whole album was very much influenced by the Pete Seeger sound, and even his mentality, I think, kind of made me want to do that. I really dove into that, and I think there's like 18 or 20 songs on that CD of banjo and singing and fairly upbeat, inspirational music that I was really feeling great about when I was doing. So
Yeah. Did you have an audience in mind when you put together that collection of songs?
Yeah, maybe I should have had more of an audience in mind. I think mostly it was coming from my own desire to try to make a statement about maybe a statement about my work. I'm a teacher, and with my day job as being a special education teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about some of the children with disabilities that I work with, and I thought I kind of wanted to put together an album that had some themes around disabilities and self-advocacy, and learning how to kind of stand up for yourself and your own rights. And that was something I wanted to do. And then I also, some of the personalities of my students and some of the other teachers that I work with kind of found their way into this recording. And I told some stories that I heard as a teacher about other teachers, and thinking from the perspective of parents and children with disabilities, and that just those voices were kind of coming out in that album. So yeah, that's kind of what inspired it more than really anything else. Although the sound of Pete Seeger's music was really kind of driving the tone of that album for me.
Okay. Was there any, I mean, did you choose Pete Seeger, or was that sort of just the way it happened? I mean, did you have an idea of like, I want this to have a certain kind of sound, and maybe identifying, or, maybe kind of, it doesn't sound like you took, like you're imitating him. I mean, it really sounds authentic and like it's totally you. But I mean, did you adopt it like as a way of saying something? Is it a form of expression?
I think so. Part of it was just the banjo, the choice of the banjo,
Yeah.
and the style of the banjo was very much a Pete Seeger inspiration. I used a tuning that to me was instrumental in his voice.
Yeah.
It's not a bluegrass style. It's a more of a kind of a plucking bum diddy original Pete Seeger style that I learned, and when I learned it and discovered it, it was sort of like a discovery of something that already existed, but nobody else was really doing it that I knew of, and I just loved it so much. And when I started playing that little bum diddy sound on the banjo, I heard all of a sudden all of these songs coming kind of in my soul. I just heard these songs that I felt like needed to be written, and so I started writing all these songs on the banjo, and in that style, and it just opened up these floodgates, and that's how that album kind of came to be. I felt like that those stories really were suited well for the banjo and that style. It's a drop C tuning, in case anybody's interested. And the banjo. So.
Is that technique? Is that the claw hammer technique? Is
it was sort of a claw hammer. It's like a modified claw hammer technique. It's not using finger picks. It's just using the nail, and you're just kind of brushing, really plucking and brushing down with your back of your nail as you go. So it's similar to a claw hammer, and very similar. Yeah. And
it's got a really.
I'm not a master at it, but I can get it. Yeah.
Oh no!
I definitely figured it out.
Sure.
And I did a couple songs on guitar also on that album. So yeah, it was a really intense day. It was one day of recording all those 20 songs. Believe it or not, that's a lot of songs for one day.
Right.
I remember driving down to that part of town, that small town, and early in the morning I left my house, and it was a thick kind of spring day. The air was really smoky. There was some fires or something, and the air was just really intense, and I could taste the smoke in my mouth as I was driving down the St. Croix River Valley to where this recording studio was. And I also happened to have the worst springtime allergies known to man.
Yeah.
So I was driving down there, and it was like the first day, and I could tell these springtime allergies are gonna get me. Got to get through this day of recording 20 songs. I got down there and recorded 20 songs. By the end of the day, I was just wrecked. Just the springtime allergies, the smoke, kind of the whole thing. But it was a wonderful day of just letting all this stuff come out. These songs.
Okay, recording 20 songs in a day is quite a feat. But I'm kind of wondering how you manage to write as much as you do. In there, I wasn't, I didn't make it. Of course, I didn't make it through all the songs, but I mean, there's some really great lyrics and great melodies, and there's just a lot of really nice songs. I mean, I didn't really run across anywhere I was like, man, this is a real stinker. Do you have, I mean, what's your secret? I mean, it's like, do you have a secret, or, I mean, is it just, or a technique or I mean,
it's a practice. It's a practice of, having done it for many, many years now, just writing and writing and writing, and I've played with little bands here and there for many, many years. Mostly we do like coffee shop or small bar type of gigs.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't done that lately with COVID, but it's just the practice. And lately with Songwriter Circle on YouTube, I've been really hunkering down and writing a lot of music and posting it out and trying to present it in a pleasing way, where I work on making a video of myself singing it that looks good, that shows. Now I've finally got 2 cameras, and I'm showing my hands and my face and the whole
right.
thing. But hey, it's just a matter of the practice, where you just go and do it, and then you don't worry too much about being perfect. I think that's a big thing, is that I think there's a lot of concern about singing everything exactly right or in tune, or you just have to just go through it and do it over and over and over again a million times. And eventually, for me, it slowly started getting better over many years.
Yeah.
It wasn't when I first started, I really had a hard time singing in pitch and didn't know my chops, and I'm still learning, but But it's just about practice. That's the secret. Practice and doing it over and over again. Not being afraid to not do something great. Just do something and repeat.
And I assume that means, writing a song, finishing it, and going on to another song, and maybe not hanging on to a tune forever.
There's always another song waiting that's going to be better. Yeah.
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 I think I did some songwriting for a while. I think that I would get hung up on hanging on to these things. And I think there's something to, I mean, even if it's not perfect, it needs to be, you need to call it good.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, well, do you have a song? Maybe, I mean, are you set up? Did you bring a guitar, a banjo?
Yeah, I'm here in my home office, which has back there. You can see my pedal steel guitar, which I bought a few months ago, and I've been starting to put some of that in my music. And
is that some kind of percussion box? The box with the hole in it, or what? Okay, like a stomp box or something.
Yeah, it's what they call a cajon. It's a box with a little snare in it. And I'm not a drummer, but I sometimes put some really basic drum sounds or rhythm with hand drums or the cajon in the back of my music. But I do have my guitar, and I decided not to do banjo for you today because I've been playing more guitar lately, to be honest.
Yeah.
And also, banjo just technically doesn't sound as good on when recorded live on streaming platforms like this. I just get really tinny. It sounds fine when you do it like a real recording, but for some reason on like a Zoom recording, it never sounds as good. But
yeah. So are you a Martin or a Gibson guy?
I love both. This guitar is actually a Taylor.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have taken you for a Taylor guy, but
yeah, I don't know. My Martin has really rusty strings on it right now. So I put it aside, and I just haven't gotten back to changing them. But
hey, I'm going to try to put you front and center here on the screen if I can.
Okay.
They recently changed you're gone. Well, I think that's the best I can do. I'm just going to kind of fade away.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
I have a couple of songs to play for you. This one is loosely based on the melody of a old folk or bluegrass tune called Wildwood Flower. So that loosely on that melody. It's called Today You Fly Up. And I wrote this probably last spring when my daughter was moving from kindergarten level. She was graduating, and there's a ceremony at the Montessori school that she's at where they call it flying up, where the children would run down this pathway, their arms spread into the school, where they would run up the stairs to the elementary level where they'd be first graders next year.
Wow.
And it's called flying up. It's a beautiful little ceremony they do. But of course, as a parent, then you have these strong emotions watching your child with their arms outstretched flying. And I thought about transitions in life, and thinking about the other transitions that people go through. So this is a simple song just called Today You Fly Up. I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. Letting go is just a part of growing up. I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. Tomorrow is a message in a bottle out on the sea, bobbing to and fro through the endless blue and green. Letting go is just a part of growing up, and I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. I try to say the words, but the words get tangled up, and I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. If I plant a garden, would you come to me once more? Like the radish and arugula aligning my back door. Once I poured my heart into forever's cup, but I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. Letting go is just a part of growing up, and I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. I can't hold you back. Today you fly up. So that was called Today You Fly Up, and it's on Songwriter Circle, my YouTube channel. You should go down and visit the link below and subscribe, and you'll get to see all these songs I've been putting out.
And they're free, just right there.
They're all right there for everybody.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of performing live? Do you get out much in gigs?
Yeah, normally under normal circumstances, I do try to play every month at a cafe. There's a cafe in town that I like to play at, and then I have a couple bands, and one of the bands is called One Ukulele, and I'm not the main singer in the band, but I've been focusing more on doing guitar and banjo and even some lap steel in that band. So yeah, and I've got another band that for years has been doing some kind of americana type of singing and songwriting called Farewell Tenny. We've done some songs over the years. So yeah, I get around enough for the amount of time that I have, for sure.
Okay. So has I mean, kind of the events of the last 6, 8, 9 months really changed your practice as a musician? I'm sure in the classroom things are quite a bit different, but
Sure, yeah. I've been working from home for most of that time, with schools closing down, and then of course all of the music opportunities to play with other people and for people have kind of dried up around these parts. But I've been, like I said, I've been throwing myself completely into the songwriting project on YouTube, and I've been participating in a lot of groups where we do songwriting circles where there's like writing prompts and
okay.
some usually like a phrase or some words are thrown out, and then you write about it. You have a week to write about it, and then you share it with a group, which is a fun exercise, and
Yeah.
often kind of I come up with things that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, which I really enjoy that process.
Are these online, the songwriting circles, or?
Yeah, one of them is just a group of friends in town that is not online. I do that,
Mm,
but there's other groups that are online. I do a song a week group that's online called Song a Week 2021. It's on the, if you Google it, you'll find it. And they have weekly prompts. And there's other one. There's one on Instagram called Write More Songs. Hashtag Write More Songs, I think.
okay. So
And,
they just,
and then there's this month is a big month because it's February Album Writing Month, FALM,
hmm,
February Album Writing Month
okay.
.org. And they have weekly prompts, and then there's a community of people that kind of check each other's songs out and comment, and it's a fun community, and for songwriters at all stages, it's a really great way to kind of engage with other people.
Yeah. And build up a catalog of songs as well, it sounds like. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. I've actually done a
um,
song a day every day this month. Yeah,
man, I'm inspired. You've inspired me. I've got the time right now. It's something um, a guy should be doing. So like, I don't know. Hey, that was great. Actually, well, hey, I've got it. Well, we could, I mean, okay, you talked about like the Jayhawks as being an inspiration. Um, but so what came first, the Pete Seeger influence or the Jayhawks? I mean, they kind of like, there's this, thread of Americana music that's been sort of popular the last few years. Um, and I guess they both kind of, would fall into that category, broadly speaking. But did the folk music come first, or did the kind of, um, I don't know what the Jayhawks would be like, country,
yeah.
folk
It
rock?
all sort of was filtering through. From a very early age, I listened to the Pete Seeger stuff, and
Mhm.
that made an impression. But then for years and years, I was interested in all the music that was out there.
Yeah,
Uh, I all of the '90s music and all of that was, of course, I loved it, and then I got into the '60s and all of that. Music was amazing, and tried to study. There's, of course, like the Beatles and Hendrix and all that, and the Stones um, and the band. When I watched the movie The
uh,
Band, the Last Waltz, it came through Minneapolis on a independent cinema, and that was really a huge awakening watching that. I got real into the blues for a long time in the early 2000s, and I painstakingly learned a lot of acoustic blues and then electric blues, which was great fun. Um, Slide guitar and all of that. So I went through that whole, there's a journey. You kind of keep discovering the people who influenced the people who came
right.
before, and you go down the rabbit holes, and it was just great fun. And months and months of being in my bedroom trying to get it, just get the parts.
Yeah, Karma Blues was really nice. I mean, that has a real authentic feel. It's kind of rough and ragged
Yeah,
in all the right places.
yeah. I
Really
remember.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, I remember I bought some tablature books of some of the acoustic blues singers from the 30s and 40s, Robert Johnson, and Skip
Sure.
James. And I learned some of those tunings and some of those licks and riffs, and they're so nice to use in music, because they sound so great. They're so pure. And then I never stopped searching for new music that I'm interested in. Like I discovered a couple of years ago that I really got into bluegrass and the bluegrass guitar players, and I realized that I didn't have any bluegrass chops. I needed to
Mm,
get some. And then I started studying the bluegrass guitar over the last couple of years, and trying to get some chops just so I could get through a couple of songs and convincingly, you know. And it's just such a it's like doing a new puzzle, you know, a 1,000-piece puzzle, trying to piece it together, and eventually you get there, you know.
All right. Okay. And then, hey, I've got to ask, when I Googled your name, a Dan Tanz came up that has an IMBD page. That isn't you, is it?
Yeah, that is me, actually. I had yeah, I think I'm on there for, I can't remember if I'm on there for Mystery Science Theater 3000, which was a television show that I was an intern.
Okay.
Many years ago. I was in charge of spreading out the cheese platters and the food plates. But I also did some fun little behind the scenes work there, and that was fun. And then years after that, I got into independent cinema, and there was about a 3-year project that I worked on.
Yeah. So did you hang out with Michael J. Nelson?
That was a drama. Like,
oops. Oh, did you get a chance?
I didn't really hang out. He was there. Yeah, he was there. Mike Nelson. Yeah, he was there, and then there were some other nice people who were on this. I was more of a backstage person.
Okay.
But I had a couple cameos, I think.
I got a kick out of that. That was fun to see. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to, add, or
I'd like to play one more song for you.
Okay, that would be fantastic if you'd play us out.
All right. Let's see. I have a song called the Tofte General Store. It's a little store in Tofte, Minnesota, along the north shore of Lake Superior, and I remember trying to find this internet signal and driving all around. Walking down the aisles of the Tofte General Store, holding up the cell phone, trying to find the internet signal. So this is called the Tofte General Store.
Okay.
We threw some wood on the fire, roasted marshmallows till they were golden brown, in blankets of wool with sweet Lisa, waiting out November, just spinning around. These chilly nights remind me of our honeymoon. We would head on down the road to the Tofte General Store, trying to get a signal, unable still to find one. So close, but so far from what we were looking for. Dry leaves crinkled under the footsteps. I take a picture, you catch a frown. I laugh, you're just like your grandma around cameras. And the knuckle sandwich is what I found. These chilly nights remind me of our honeymoon. We would head on down the road to the Tofte General Store, trying to get a signal, unable still to find one. So close, but so far from what we were looking for. Crazy how fast the afternoon light goes. We heat up supper and hunker down. I'm afraid I don't have the words to tell you. I wonder what the future will bring around. These chilly nights remind me of our honeymoon. We would head on down the road to the Tofte general store, trying to get a signal, unable still to find one. So close but so far from what we were looking for. These chilly nights remind me of our honeymoon. We would head on down the road to the Tofte general store, trying to get a signal, unable still to find one. So close but so far from what we were looking for.